Thought I'd give you a quick history lesson or geography lesson of Malta. This is a Maltese map. It's on my fridge. Thought I'd show you where the Oracle came from. Malta is actually 3 islands, all up 300 square kilometres. To put that in perspective, Greater Melbourne is 9,900 square kilometres. This is Malta. This is where the Oracle is from, a suburb called Ormi in the deep in the guts of Malta. Yeah, that's where she left in 1953, 1954, and that's where this recipe comes from. It is August 23rd, third week in August. Third week of stage 4 restrictions, third week of not being able to move more than 5 kilometres away from your home. Because of that, because of the boredom, we are making another Maltese classic 1950s inspired recipe. The dish we're going to make today is actually is a soup called Minestra. Easily one of my favourite soups when I was growing up. Really big, bold flavours, hearty. You didn't need an entree, you didn't need dessert, you just needed a bowl of soup, okay? Bloody awesome. Minestra is smoked bacon bones with split peas and a whole lot of vegetables. That's it. Pretty simple to make, this one. I know Minestra probably sounds like minestrone, but trust me, world of difference. Both, I know minestrone is a hearty soup and it's got similar ingredients and stuff like that, but Minestra, seriously, it is so thick the spoon will stand straight. When you put it in the fridge and take it out the next day, you can scoop it up with your hand. That's how thick it is. All right, here are the ingredients for Minestra Maltese smoked rib bacon bone soup. Okay. I like to use Mackenzie's soup mix. Why? Because it's got extra beans in it. It's got like 3 or 4 different beans. It's got cannellini beans, black beans, red beans, bortolotti beans, and all the rest of it. Okay. I always like to put an extra bit of barley into it just to sort of thicken it up. Just makes it really hearty. You're going to need some tomato paste, just a couple of tablespoons. Leek never goes astray. Celery, classic soup dish. Parsnip, root vegetable. Pumpkin, I use this one, it's just whatever, easy to cut. Carrots, never fail. Sweet potato, love sweet potato. And most importantly, the bacon bone. These are the smoked bacon bone ribs. This is probably the only ingredient that I'll actually go through now and tell you a little bit about. Just because there are different ways of doing it. All right. Now what we're using today, and I'll put it out here. Went to a butcher in Newport that smoked their own meat and that kind of thing. I asked for some smoked ribs, and this is what he had today. So it's kind of like the whole ribs. Then he's cut it for me. What I normally use is the long ribs that you get from the delicatessen. It's like, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ribs, like bloody piano, okay? You can actually, piano play it. That's what I love best. In Safeway and stuff like that, you can often see these containers, half-kilo containers of smoked bacon bones. Be really careful about using them because they're really, really salty. I think the nitrate's through the roof. If anything, don't use them. If you want to be a little bit lazy, right? Coles now has smoked ham, the meat that's off the bone. That's one way of using it. If you're not going to use the ribs, you can just use a smoked hock. Beautiful, okay? Makes it really gelatinous, that kind of thing. You've got to take it then out of the soup at some stage and scrape all the meat and put it back in. So my preference, either use the smoked ribs, I reckon they're the best, or the hock, okay? Any one of them will do you well. If you want to throw in some meat, good luck, God bless. I'm actually going to throw in some chorizo and sausage today as well, and I'll just show you them. In fact, I can't find my chorizo. I can't find my goddamn chorizo. No, seriously, I can't find my chorizo. What's going on?
Did you buy it?
Lara, I'm not liking this. I can't find my chorizo.
In the door?
Ah, fuck me. Lucky, I've got found my chorizo. Not on that.
Crisis averted.
Maltese history lesson number 2. Interesting. I found this really interesting when I actually read it. Basically what it was, Malta and Gozo and stuff were the highest points of a landmass between Southern Europe, so Italy, and North Africa. And then when the Straits of Gibraltar, or the Rock of Gibraltar, crumbled, that let in all the ocean into what's now the Mediterranean Sea, covering everything except the really high parts, being Camino, Gozo, and Malta. Okay, what I'm doing here is washing the barley and the soup mix. I've used 2.5 cups worth of the soup mix, and then I did an extra 1/2 cup of barley just to thicken it up. Okay, first thing you've got to do, big pot. You're not making a small pot, okay? You're going to eat this for the next 3 days, all right? So big pot, a lot of water in there. We've got the bean mix, the bacon bones. Put them all in and basically boil for 45 minutes. So the first time I called my mum to learn how to make this recipe, like cutting teeth really, because she's been making it for 50 or 60 years, right? It's just so ingrained that when she gives you a recipe, it's like not even giving you a recipe. So I ended up calling and said, how do you make it? She goes, oh, easy. Put the beans, put the split peas, boil it up, put the vegetables in, let it tick. That's it, no problem. Not much of a recipe. So I'm asking her, so what do you put in? She's like, everything. I'm like, can you just be a bit more specific? I literally had to go, do you put peas in? No, not peas. Do you put carrots? Yes, you put carrots. Do you put parsnip? Yes, you put parsnip. Do you put this? Yes, you put this. This recipe is going to be is a product of that conversation, right? And a few embellishments of my own along the way.
What's cooking, says Albert.
What I try to do is cut all the food into pieces that fit on the spoons. When you're doing the chorizo, just cut it into 4 pieces. Basically do a diagonal, yeah, and then chop it into 4 pieces. Yep. Okay, so this took about 15 minutes to get to the boil, and it's been boiling like this for about 45. A couple of times I've had to sort of skim the top, get rid of the impurities, or the scum, I think it's called. But that was all fine. So now what I'm going to do is go through the ingredients that I'm going to put in and the quantities. So if you're making it at home, at least you have some idea. Look, we're new to this shit, right? So it becomes hard. Had a camera mishap and didn't quite do the climax of putting all the ingredients into the bowl. Didn't quite get that done properly. So what I'm going to do is go through what I put in there, and you just have to take my word for it. What we went in: 1 leek. Pretend that's leek. 1 onion. 2 medium-sized carrots. 1 parsnip, large parsnip. Sweet potato. I think it was 1 good medium-sized one. 1 chorizo cut into 4 ways. That whole pumpkin, that whole half a pumpkin. I put in some Italian herbs, okay. Usual suspects: basil, rosemary, thyme, oregano, teaspoon of each. I put in 2 German Kransky sausages. For your first time, don't try the sausages, or don't try the German Kransky sausages. I saw them at Aldi and thought, bang, let's give them a crack. 2 large tablespoons of Legos tomato paste. or just tomato paste. And that's it. What I'm going to do now, bring it to the boil again. As soon as it gets to boiling, I'm going to turn it right down and just do as my mother says, let it tick for an hour or two, an hour, whatever it might be, just until it thickens up and that type of thing. All right. Smells a treat. Took about 10 minutes to get to boil, and then it's been tick, simmering for about another 50 minutes, right? This was the first, we'll give it a bit of a stir, just to see how it's going. Camera lady, can you see how it's going? You can see all the beans, the barley, the food, and all the rest of it. We'll put the spoon in there. Unbelievable, the spoon stays where it is. Not quite ready yet, probably another half an hour, I reckon, half an hour, 40 minutes of simmering, and this shit will be the bomb. Yeah. I find Maltese history fascinating. It's just amazing how a desolate rock with not a river, not a lake, not anything, could become so important for that region. Its main reason, and the only reason really, is this here. It's called the Grand Harbour of Malta. It's just a very natural and deep harbour that any sea-going nation, once they had control of that and control of that area, basically had access to all of the Mediterranean. That's why it's been so important. Look at the camera, dog. Over here, Stooge. Look at the camera. Oh, that's Albert Greyhound. I'm just about to walk him. Final words on the soup. Yeah, don't really need the Aldi sausage. Piss that off. No, don't need it. May need a little bit of salt. May need, but really just when you boil it up, that's when you should probably put it in. I'm not too sure if it does, but you know, maybe some people like more salt more than I do. But otherwise, no, she's good to go. Enjoy. That's good. Yeah, that's good, actually. Some more, right? Oh, fucking hot. Let it cool down a bit before you gorge yourself on it. Just another tip.